Jakarta is sinking. Flooding is getting worse. And parts of the city are dropping lower every year. So Indonesia is doing something radical. Building a brand new capital in the middle of the jungle. But there's almost nothing here a city of millions needs. No major roads. No utility network. No real urban infrastructure. So, before anything else can rise, engineers have to turn the jungle into one massive construction site. And that's where one of the world's most unusual building projects begins. The location wasn't chosen by accident. East Kalimantan sits relatively close to the center of Indonesia. Balikpapan and Samarinda are not far away. Ports, airports, and major roads were already within reach. But the actual construction site was nowhere near ready to support a capital city. Forest, plantations, hilly terrain, and almost no infrastructure. Before anything could be built here, they first had to create the space to build it. Vegetation was cleared. Construction zones were opened up. Access roads were cut in. Then came the next challenge. The terrain had to be surveyed and reshaped. Hillsides were cut back. Building areas were prepared. Only then could heavy machinery move deeper into the site. A construction site this large needs a constant flow of supplies. Steel, concrete, building components, fuel, and thousands of workers. So, step by step, an entire construction logistics network was built. New access roads connected the site to the surrounding region. Materials could move in faster. Workers could stay on site long-term. Only now was Nusantara actually ready to be built. But beneath the cleared ground, the next problem was already waiting. The soil itself was still nowhere near ready for a capital city. The site was cleared, but the ground was still nowhere near ready. Nusantara is being built on hilly terrain, so the landscape had to be reshaped first. Hillsides were cut back. Earth was removed. Low areas were filled. Section by section, new building platforms began to take shape. But that immediately created the next problem. Rain. With the ground exposed, water could now run off much faster. It collected in low areas. It carved channels into the soil. and it threatened to wash away months of work. So engineers had to control the water before they could continue building. Drainage trenches were cut. Concrete channels followed the new roads. Retention ponds captured the runoff. Slope by slope, the construction site became its own drainage system. Now the rain could flow away without destroying the work already completed. But dry ground still wasn't strong enough, because the heaviest structures were still to come. Roads, bridges, government ministries, and eventually, the presidential palace. Their weight couldn't rest on the upper soil alone. So massive piling rigs moved in. Pile after pile disappeared deep below the surface. Some foundations reached dozens of meters into the ground before they found stable bearing layers. Above them came reinforced foundation blocks. Then massive concrete slabs tied everything together into one structural platform, but even that wasn't enough. Every foundation had to line up perfectly. Position, elevation, spacing. Because an error of just a few inches underground could become a much bigger problem once the building started rising. So survey teams checked every pile, every footing, every anchor point. Only then did the concrete begin to flow. Rebar cages disappeared inside the forms. Foundation after foundation took shape. And for the first time, the construction site stopped looking like earth moving. It started looking like a capital city. Now the city finally begins to rise. Concrete cores climb floor by floor. Tower cranes swing into motion. Government ministries take shape. Residential buildings follow. Road by road, the construction sites begin to connect. Bridges link one district to the next. What started as isolated foundations slowly becomes a real city. But one structure is unlike anything else on the site, the Garuda. First, its massive steel skeleton rises above the hill. Piece by piece, the frame is assembled. Every section is lifted into place by heavy cranes. Bolted, aligned, checked. Only then does the outer skin arrive. Thousands of metal fins are fabricated, cut, shaped, inspected, then loaded onto trucks, transported to the port, shipped across the sea, delivered to the construction site, and lifted into the air once again. Fin by fin, blade by blade. The giant bird begins to appear. Its wings stretch nearly 580 feet across the skyline, standing almost 250 feet tall. Its metal skin shades parts of the building from the tropical sun. And over time, the copper alloy slowly changes color, giving the structure a different appearance year after year. Meanwhile, the rest of the city keeps growing. Roads connect. Utilities move underground. Public spaces take shape. Separate construction sites merge into one government district. From above, the transformation is complete. Where rainforest, plantations, and hills once stood, a new capital now rises from the jungle. And in the end, the view changes. From above, it no longer looks like a single construction site. You see roads, buildings, bridges, green spaces. And at the center, the Garuda, where forests, plantations, and hills once stood. The foundation of a new capital is now taking shape. Jakarta is still sinking, but Indonesia's answer is now rising on Borneo. A new capital in the middle of the jungle.